Hey, welcome to the Seannie Mac Show. My name is Seannie Mac. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Hope you had an excellent weekend. Here's a little inside baseball about the inner workings of the Seannie Mac Show. Last night, I was preparing today's show like I prepare every show, by chain-smoking Marlboro Reds and taking pulls of Jack Daniels. We were all ready to discuss President Biden's trip to Brussels and to Warsaw. I had a sharp, satirical monologue all sketched out about the gap between what presidents say when they're on the teleprompter and what they say when they're being actually honest. I was going to lay out my whole case of why regime change in Russia is a terrible idea, to call for it openly, pushes us closer to war, does not pull us further from it. I was going to talk all about all of that on tonight's show. But then, one of the greatest comedians who ever lived took the stage at the Oscars and delivered a not great, but, he tried award show joke.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
All right. Kind of a throwaway line, not particularly funny. G.I. Jane came out 25 years ago, so it's not super topical. Jada Pinkett Smith has shaved her head because she suffers from alopecia, which causes significant hair loss. Will Smith laughed at the joke. I'm sure the two of them are going to argue about that later, but we're all world-famous public figures here, so comic tells rough joke, dog bites man. Right, Will? Right?
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television.
Are you kidding me? Did you just commit a crime on global television because a comedian told a joke that your wife didn't like? In what world is that even remotely fucking okay? You can yell out, which is also incredibly inappropriate, but you're human. I get it. You can tell the Academy you'll never appear at the Oscars again if Chris Rock is there. You can pull Rock aside afterward at the Vanity Fair party and say, Jada hated that joke. It really hurt her feelings. Please don't joke about that anymore. But you absolutely cannot, under any circumstances, physically assault a comic doing his job on stage. This was not a dude at a bar talking shit on your wife or a playground bully making fun of a disability. This is not a plea for shit talk without consequence or speech without criticism. Criticism for speech is part of the deal, especially for jokes. There is plenty of criticism, even levied at this show. In fact, there's not nearly enough criticism levied at this show. Please get mean and more personal with your criticism of this show. Just make sure you do it in the YouTube comment section. Lots and lots of it. Comment on our videos hundreds of times with really mean and negative stuff about me and about the show. I deserve it. Again, in the YouTube comment section, lots and lots of times. Even share our videos and tell your friends to comment really negative stuff in the YouTube comment section, okay? It's only fair. This is, however, a defense of comedy as art. The reaction to the slap in some quarters online shows it's actually part of a larger, incredibly dangerous societal trend. For a couple of decades now, the postmodern language of microaggressions has suggested that violence can include both silence in the face of speech and speech itself, and it has brought to the fore a line of thinking that an appropriate quote-unquote consequence for a person's off-color joke that bothers you or makes you feel bad is to punch that person in the face. The line of argument suggesting violent action is an appropriate countermeasure to unlimited free speech rages under the surface of how we talk about things a lot more serious than what happened at the Oscars. For instance, noted intellectuals used multiple whataboutist arguments back in 2015 when 12 people in Paris were murdered by Islamic terrorists at the offices of the satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo, all just for publishing a cartoon depicting the Prophet Muhammad. Many of those same arguments were made in 1989 to defend the Iranian fatwa against Salman Rushdie for his book, The Satanic Verses. Again, to be clear, absolutely nothing about what happened at the Oscars is in any way comparable to those events I just mentioned, but the illiberal tendency to justify violence as a reaction to speech is alive and well, and it showed itself big time after the slap. For whatever reason, and I think it's because comedy is just talking, so everyone thinks they can do it because everyone thinks they're funny. It's not treated in the same way other art forms would be in the exact same situation. In any other venue, under any other circumstances, what Will Smith did would have resulted in universal condemnation. If you run onto a baseball field, you get tased. If you run onto the stage while Zach Brown Band is performing, J.J. Watt will clobber you, and everybody will cheer for that. But if you've been famous for 30 years, and you hop up on stage and attack a comedian who tells a joke your wife doesn't care for, they will still give you a fucking trophy. Let's put a stop to that, can we? Oh, and one more thing happened today.
That Albert Pujols has returned home. He inks a one-year deal, right around $2.5 million to play yet another season with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Mwah! Welcome home, Albert. We love you so much. That's our show. Don't forget to attack us viciously in the YouTube comment section. You can also share our video and our podcast and tell your friends to trash us on social media. Again, very negative, very visceral in the YouTube comment section is where it's at. Just really, really awful stuff. Please, let me have it. I mean, if you're a Cubs fan, you can just trash us. Do it. We can't wait. Also, you can download the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, all the major platforms. This show, you can find it. And if you think we've earned it, please go ahead and leave us a review. We're back tomorrow night, and we hope to see you then. Bye-bye.
In this time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Be sure you hit the bell so you'll get notified as soon as our show drops, and you'll never miss any of our videos. You can also follow and download the show on all the major podcast apps. Please don't forget to rate and review us, and if you like what we're doing here, just tell your family and friends about us. You can tell your grandparents it's like a really short Johnny Carson, just without Ed in the band, and Johnny. Or tell your kids it's like a really long TikTok.